Hey everybody, we are back with more dates with Dita from her book, and we are going over chapter 1. We are still in her beauty secrets, beauty tips, skincare, all of that. So we're just going to jump right into it. Old days and arsenic. Once upon a time, pale skin was a symbol of high society, since only the kept and wealthy could avoid the swarthy skin that resulted from long days toiling under the hot sun. But avoiding a tan reaped some near fatal effects. Romans and Greeks applied chalk and lead paints to look whiter, putting them at risk for lead poisoning. While the alkaloids and acids in lemon juice and dandelions removed dead skin cells, and it was believed bleached skin, another bleaching practice, proved deadly. Arsenic and mercury are highly toxic to the blood, bone marrow, and liver. Don't do as Madame Pompadour did. Stick to sunscreen. Queen Elizabeth had it partly right. To give the effect of translucent paleness, the Queen and her groupies would draw fine blue lines on their skin to suggest veins. They also began the fashion of carrying parasols. I have quite a collection, and some of my favorites cost a few bucks at the flea market or Chinese shop. Pretty parasols, glamorous hats, and high SPF sunscreens are part of my daily sun protection. Basking in the heat on holiday, especially in an ocean as blue as sapphires and so clear you can see coral-colored toenails, is a delicious pleasure. It can also be hazardous to our skin tone and health. I never see the light of day, not even a cloudy day, without sunscreen. Then she just goes into some more details about the specifics of how important it is to use a really, really good sunscreen that blocks UVA and UVB. And I totally agree with this. Sunscreen is something I honestly wish I would have started way younger, but I did start a few years back, and I consistently put it on every single day. And I can tell you firsthand that it has definitely been one of the biggest things that has changed my skin tone and texture, where before I had like acne scarring, hyperpigmentation, dark spots, some melasma creeping in, especially in the summertime, and none of that is there anymore. And I keep it consistently protected, even when I'm just going to work, even when I'm not going to be outside, just even driving is a huge reason to wear sunscreen. Sunscreen every single day, no matter what, even if you're going to be indoors, as long as there's windows, you need sunscreen. She also goes on to say how it is sort of a retro effect to like crave to be pale or want to be pale. Everybody, I think since the 70s and maybe even before that, it was all like, it was a tan. And I still think now, I think that is changing a little bit now. I think there are some people that definitely appreciate fair skin and want to keep their skin really, really fair. I still see what she's saying. It's still more trendy to be tan. And that just goes to show the differences in generations and decades, and what is trendy right now might not be what's trendy in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. It's always going to change, because back in the day, pale was in. Today, more tan is in, and now it's kind of evening out. So don't really compare yourself too much or be hyped up. You just do whatever you like to do, but if you are tanning, make sure it's fake. Ooh, this is really interesting. Actually, 1946 was the first home tanning lamp and the revolutionary bikini. That was the year. And it was because of celebrities and movie stars like Joan Crawford. She was in a movie and she had like a sun-kissed look for that film, and I guess it kind of sparked interest in that. Also, I thought this was really interesting. She said, "I'm always amazed at those who assume Betty Page was pale," which I definitely did. "This woman loved to be out in the sun, and she was frequently photographed with a deep tan. Just look at the Technicolor images by the talented lens woman, Bunny Yeager," which I'll put it here if I can find it so we can see what she's talking about, because I too thought that she was very pale. But that was then. Given all we know now about the damaging effects of sun, the most glamorous look is embracing the skin you're born with. And I totally, totally agree. I too struggle with constantly wanting to be tan, but I also accept my paleness. And then this is a very, very good advice. Secret to youth, ? Don't bitch about how your skin looks like last season's bag when you won't put down the cigarettes and you can't keep out of the sun. Facts. Too many cocktails can also take their toll, so when it comes to skin, drink from the fountain of common sense. And I totally, totally agree with this. I think the major things that age people and destroy collagen production are not getting enough sleep, being in the sun too much without sun protection, and drinking anything like that, smoking, things that are toxic that our body has to fight. So yeah, good advice from her. Sometimes I drive around Los Angeles wearing opera-length gloves because of all the sunlight flooding through my car windows. So I might be slightly more motivated by the style than safety, but what a stylish form of sun protection. And this is so funny to me because my esthetician actually does drive with gloves and wraps her head with like a scarf every time she goes out, and even driving from place to place. And they're not actually wrong. Have you guys seen that viral photo of a truck driver that drove for years? I don't remember. It was a very extended period of time. I would say like 10 to 20 years, somewhere in there. But you could tell it's not like they were outside. They were just driving constantly in their vehicle for days and weeks for their life, you know? And basically they did a side by side, and you can very clearly see that the side that was exposed to like the window, constant window light and the UV rays from that, aged so much more than the other side that was more in the shade. And that is complete proof right there about how damaging it can actually be to not use sun protection. I think we're just going to stop it right there because that's actually the end of chapter 1. Next time we are going into chapter 2, and this is about curves, swerves, and the pinup physique. So this is all about what she does to stay in shape and more physical stuff. So I think I'll separate that from the SPF bit. But super good advice from Dita Von Teese. Make sure you wear your sunscreen. It is the number one thing I can also recommend to people, whether you're dealing with aging, acne, dark spots, any of it. It will literally save your skin, and you will thank me in 30 years. Bye.